If you are part of the sandwich generation, this video is going to help you. Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy, and welcome back to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women who are getting happy, living longer and growing younger. And this is a much requested video about the sandwich generation. What is the sandwich generation? Well, it's that generation which is literally caught in the middle. So it's also called the caught in the middle generation. But the sandwich generation, it sounds quite cute, doesn't it? Yeah? No, it's not cute. It's not cute. What is it then? Well, it's that those people who are finding themselves at an age where they are supporting and caring for their children, but they're also supporting and caring for elderly parents. Hence the term, they're in the middle of the children and the parents. And that's where this sandwich comes in. So if you're in this situation, then you are the sandwich filling. Yeah. So you could be caring for your children and elderly parents either financially, physically, emotionally, or all three. Whichever way you are a caregiver. Is that you? Well, it's definitely 1 in 7 at least middle-aged Americans. Middle-aged Americans supporting an aging parent. And I reckon that's vastly underestimated. But whether it is or it isn't, the figure's on the rise. Because if you think about it, in general, people are leaving it longer to have children, but we're also living longer, so the situation's going to get worse and not better. I think we are recognising, as a society, we are recognising this situation, and things are starting to move, at least I think in the UK and possibly the US. To try and help. So in that sense, hopefully it is going to get better. So the sandwich generation then are caring for their children and caring for their aging parents. Now sometimes that can mean if you are a couple that you are caring for both sets of parents, so not just your mum and dad, your own mum and dad, but the mum and dad of your partner as well. Not always, of course. Sometimes one parent may have passed away and there's only one parent left that you need to take care of. Sometimes both parents may be alive, but one parent is not capable of caring for the other one. There's all kinds of different scenarios, and I guess it's different for every family. But the ultimate of that could be that you have 4 elderly parents to take care of in addition to your children. Now, again, not always, but mostly the hands-on intensive care of elderly parents and children falls down to the woman in the family. Now, we've moved on from the sandwich to now the club sandwich, because not only could you be looking after your mum or dad or grandparents, you're looking after your children, but now you're also looking after grandchildren too, which makes you a member of the club sandwich generation. Like I said, sounds cute, really isn't. It really isn't. So you're going through all this, you're trying to keep your marriage together, you're trying to live a normal life, hold down a job. And oh, and did I mention that around about this time, you're probably also dealing with the menopause? Such a joy. It's not so cute anymore, is it? The sandwich generation? Absolutely not. And let me tell you, if this is you, let me just say this, if this is you, I acknowledge your struggle. I appreciate what you do and I honour you. I think you are amazing. You are amazing. If nobody has told you that today, I am telling you You are amazing. Do you hear me? Good. I'm glad. So I'm going to talk about some things that might help you to navigate your way through this, or make it a little bit easier for you. Let's put it that way. That's what I want to do for you. And once again, as with my conversations about the empty nest, this is not a woman over 50 problem, issue. It's a family issue. It's also a societal issue, but I'm not talking about that at the moment. I'm talking about you and your family. So it isn't a woman's problem, it's a family problem, if it's a problem at all. If you are the sandwich filling, if you're part of this sandwich generation, I want to know your story. Please leave your story. Tell me your story in the comments box, or you can write to me. Obviously, you don't have to go into personal details, but what it will do is other people will read those comments. Sometimes maybe years down the line, because these videos stay on YouTube forever, someone could read your comment and it could really help them to know that they are not alone. And if you've done something in some way that's helped to ease your own way through it, tell us about that too. So that can help someone else who's never thought of doing that particular thing. So if you've never commented on one of my videos before and you are able to help in this situation, the sandwich generation, please leave a comment. Even if you're not going through it, but you have some kind of cheering support that you can give to someone who might read it, I would really appreciate it, and so would the people reading the comments. So please do that. Now then, let me just give you some strategies or some tips. Some of these things you will know, they won't be revelatory to you, but you may just need someone to tell you, and I'm going to be that person. Or you may need to be reminded. The first thing is, you do not have to do all this on your own. You do not have to do it all yourself. In fact, it is impossible. We've left Superwoman behind, hopefully. You know, there are only so many hours in the day and you cannot do everything. So you need to talk to your family, talk to the people together, talk to the people you're caring for, your parents, your children. You are all in this together. This is life that is happening, and it's not down to you on your own to deal with it. You are in it together. It's a family thing. Get together and talk about it together and own the situation between you. You know, sometimes teenagers, I guess more often than not, teenagers, by the very nature of being a teenager, are selfish. They're focused on what they have to do and their issues and what they have to get through. They may not even have recognised that you're doing all these things. They may just think you're their mum who does everything and can do everything. Unless you tell people how you're feeling, they don't know. They don't know. So sit down, have a family meal, talk, go out for dinner. You're in it together. That's the first thing. You are in it together. Then this applies to your job. If you are trying to hold down a job of any kind, talk to your boss and your colleagues about your caregiving responsibilities, because once again, if you don't tell them, they don't know. And see if you can sort out some kind of more flexible working arrangements. I think one thing COVID did is teach us that there can be more flexible working arrangements or home working possibilities. So if you haven't done all that already, that's something you can look into. My next tip is to delegate. So once everybody knows the situation and what's going on, delegate. And as I say, your family, especially your children and your parents, but your friends as well would want to help you too, may be able to help you. So your siblings, your grown-up children all have to help. Now, if you don't have siblings, if it's not possible, or even in addition to your siblings and everyone helping you, you need to get local support services involved. You know, you might be able to organise some respite care if you have the person you're caring for lives with you. Get some respite care if you don't have a partner, if you don't have siblings to help, and so on. Have a look at what's available in your area. You may well be surprised. You may not consider yourself to be a caregiver, that label caregiver. My sister didn't care for that label, I'll tell you that. And nor do I, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, that's the one we've got. So look up caregiving support and your area and see what's available. And take it up. Don't think, oh no, I've never been someone who's gone for support services before. Now you need that support. And it's there for you. Okay, so get as much local support as you can get, and then get organised. You need a plan. A battle plan, I guess. You need structure so that you know what everyone's doing and when. I mean, even if you have family or siblings who live a long way away, they can still help remotely. They could help research local services for you. They could arrange appointments. They could, I don't know, organise your parents' finances, for example. They could do all that remotely. And then once a month, if they can't come to meet you in person, you could get together on Zoom and have dinner, have a family meal, make it a pleasant occasion and not, like a chore, where you get together once a month to see what's needed next month and what each person can do in order to contribute. Discuss the month ahead of what's needed for the person you're caring for. And this is a very personal one to me, actually. I would say educate yourself on any of the conditions that you find yourself dealing with. So whatever is causing you to have to care for a member of your family, educate yourself to the hilt on that condition. Knowledge really is power in this situation. All the way through, with my mum who died with cancer, my sister and I had an agreement which would not work for everyone, I know, and we need to know that as a family you find your own way of doing these things. My sister and I talked about this, and I told her to stay off the internet. Any research for anything that we'd been told, I would do. Now, I research all the time. She knew that, and she trusted me. What I didn't want her doing is going on Wikipedia. Now, I know Wikipedia can be useful, but anybody can contribute to Wikipedia, and they may or may not know what they're talking about. And I didn't want her going onto Wikipedia and reading something, for example, that frightened her, or that was completely wrong, that would worry her, and she'd have no need to worry about that. I wanted to be sure that what we were worrying about was real and bona fide, and we didn't need anything else or any false information in that situation. So I did the research, and I would ask her before I told her, do you want to know this? Because again, we're all different. Where I want to know the ins and outs, as my daughter Charlotte did, my sister would say, no, don't tell me, I don't want to know about that. And so, right, okay, I won't tell you that. That's the way we did it. And I'm sure with my daughter, because by the time we got to my daughter, who I did care for, she did live with us while she was ill, so we were hands-on in every respect, I educated myself to the hilt, and Charlotte gave me permission to ask questions when we went to appointments, and I'm pretty sure that when Charlotte and I were arriving, everyone hid behind their desks. I didn't care. You tell me something, I'm going to nail you down to the last inch of what you know about it, so that we could be prepared and in control of any decisions we had to make. You may not want to do that. I'm just telling you this was my story and how I dealt with it. This leads me on to say to you, for your own sake, but for those you care for, do not allow the stress of all this to overpower you, because it's going to affect your ability to cope and your ability to care. not only that, if you look at your situation the way I introduced it at the beginning of this video, if you think about things like this, I have to care for my mum, and I have to care for my dad, I have to care for his mum and his dad, and then such a body's going to university, and well, that's going to be awful, and then they want me to look after the grandchildren, or my work. And if you think like that, all in one big thing, it's going to stress you out completely. You've delegated, you've made your plan, you know who's doing what over the coming month. Now bring it down. Take it one day at a time as far as possible. And also take time out to remember your relationship with the person you're caring for. I say this from experience. You can get to a point where you are so bogged down with the practicalities and the necessities of what you have to do for the person that you actually forget your relationship with them. So, for example, with Charlotte, I was so focused on all of these things that occasionally I had to remember we need some mother and daughter time. She's still my daughter. She's not just someone who is sick and who I am caring for. It was difficult. I forgot that on many occasions. In fact, it was necessary to forget sometimes, but try to remember to have those good times. I don't want to be maudlin or negative here, but they won't be there forever. And although what you're doing for them is important, you also need to remember and to not be so stressed that you forget to have the good times or create good times to have with the person you're caring for. Caregivers' burnout is just as real as any other type of burnout. And there are two videos I want you to watch after this one. The first one is signs of burnout and what to do about it. And the second one is on mental health, which is the last video that I just did. You may not be struggling with burnout. You may not have any signs of burnout or any signs of mental health issues. Nevertheless, watch those two videos. There will be help and suggestions and strategies for you in there. So do that now. Tell me in the comments box below if you want me to do more on this. We're scratching the surface here, but I hope some of those tips have helped some of you. Ask me any questions you like. I really care for you caregivers. I've been one. I do understand. I don't understand exactly what you're going through, but I understand the struggle of it from all sides up. So I'm here to help. Okay, I'll see you next time. And until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger. See you next time. Bye-bye.